Integrative performance task is a combined task where learners are expected to create an output that covers the learning competencies from different learning areas. Through this, it will lessen the activity of the students without compromising the learning outcome and competencies they need to achieve. With that, it is with great honor and pride to present the integrative performance task of Lamao National High School for Grade 7, 3rd Quarter. Let us all witness the output prepared by Tiffany T. Filipino from Grade 7 Zinya.
Good morning, netizens, and welcome to my vlog. I'm Tiffany Daniel Filipino from Grade 7 Zinya. It's a good day to be productive. Kaya naman today, our vlog is about a day in my life. In this vlog, ipapakita ko sa inyo ang mga ginagawa ko buong araw bilang estudyante at kung paano ako mag-aral ngayong distance learning. We all know that we're still experiencing pandemic. Pero kahit na may pandemic, kailangan pa rin nating matuto. This vlog is for the 3rd quarter integrative performance task. Excited na ba kayo? Tara! Samahan niyo ko! Before I start my day, gagawa muna tayo ng checklist ng mga pagkakasunod-sunod na mga gagawin natin today. I want to be well guided, and before I sleep, I want to make sure na nagawa ko na lahat ng nasa list. Number 1 is to exercise. Number 2, eat breakfast. Number 3, wash the dishes or sanitize the kitchen. Number 4, finish my modules. Number 5, bond with my family. And number 6, pray before sleep. Ayun na ang mga gagawin natin ngayon. Simulan na natin. At ngayon, bago po natin simulan ng araw ko, magpapapawis po muna tayo. Gagawin ko na rin po ang activity namin sa science para mamaya i-compute ko na lang ang speed, velocity, at acceleration. Moving our body is a must, especially ngayon may pandemic. We need to make sure na lagi tayong healthy physically para hindi tayo magkakasakit. 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. is exercise time. Kaya ngayon, ipapakita ko sa inyo ang ilan sa mga exercises at physical activities na ginagawa ko. So, una, I do jogging in place since bawal kaming lumabas. Ire-record ko ang time ko sa pag-jog in place. Sa pagsimula ng pag-jogging, isasabay ko ang pag-on ng timer. Para ma-describe ang aking motion in terms of distance or displacement, speed or velocity, and acceleration as I perform a personal activity tulad ng pag-exercise. Kailangan ko ang timer para makuha ang time kung gaano katagal ang aking pag-jogging. After that, tinry ko namang mag-jog papunta sa kanan at babalik ako sa dati kong pwesto. Nirecord ko din ang time ko dito. I do some stretching from head to toe after nang mag-jog in place. Napakarami talagang benefits ng pag-exercise. Bukod sa na-improve tayo ng physical and mentally, na ilalagay tayo sa iba't ibang uri ng sakit. Na-maintain natin ang ating desired weight at napapahaba pa nito ang ating mood. Done with the exercise. Napakasarap talaga mag-exercise tuwing umaga. Mamaya ay kukumputing ko na ang activity namin sa science. Now, kakain muna tayo ng almusal. Ngayon naman ay liligpitin natin ang aking pinagkainan. I'll wash the dishes and clean the kitchen para naman makatulong tayo kay mama sa mga gawaing bahay. First, I will collect loose dust by sweeping the kitchen floor with the broom or static sweeper and then wiping down the countertops, tables, and other surfaces with cleaning rag. Next, I will mix 1 gallon warm water in a bucket with 1/2 cup white vinegar and 1 tablespoon of dish soap. Now, I will dip the mop into the bucket, wring the mop out, and wipe across our kitchen floors. The diluted vinegar solution make it safe for any kitchen floor surface while strong enough to clean and disinfect. The dish soap assists in cutting through any food residue that may be on the kitchen floor. Let the floor air dry after cleaning. Now I will make an all-purpose cleaner by combining 3 cups of warm water with a 1/2 cup of white vinegar and a 1 tablespoon of dish soap. We will spray this solution onto kitchen surfaces and wipe off with a damp cleaning rag. This works well on any type of kitchen surface, including sinks, tables, counter, and any other areas that requires cleaning. And we're done! After doing the chores, it's now time to finish my modules. Ang unang module na gagawin ko ay math, but for me to finish my module, I need to illustrate my dream house using polygons. Ayan, tapos na nating i-drawing ang ating dream house. Some of us want some extravagant dream house wherein it has some big spaces, many floors, hence, but I belong to the opposite. I just want my dream house to be simple, not too big and not too small. That's why I draw it simply. I used trapezoid as my roof, added 2 more triangles on each sides, and add octagon inside so it has some designs. For my walls, I use rectangles so the dimension of the house can be seen clearly. I use it for my door too. For my windows, I use square and add some small rectangles inside. I just want my house to be simple, so that me and my family can see each other when we're at home. Pagkatapos ng exercise kanina ay i-compute ko na ang aking motion. Ang magiging reference point ko ay ang aking pwesto nung ako'y mag-jog in place, papunta sa aking kaliwa at ganun din ang gagawin ko papunta sa aking kanan. First, ire-record ko lahat ng values na nakuha ko mula sa table. Ang distance ko nung ako'y mag-jog to the left is 8 meters at ang time ko is 7.5 seconds. Nung nag-jog naman ako papunta sa kanan, ang distance ko ay 8.5 meters at ang time ko is 7.6. Second is i-compare ko ang distance covered to the left to the distance to the right where I jog. And third, i-compute ko ang value ng aking speed at velocity. Ayan, tapos na. Ibig sabihin, mas mabilis pala akong napapunta sa aking right dahil mas malapit ito sa aking original position. Ayan, so far matatapos na tayo sa mga modules. It's time to bond with my family. Nakasanayan na naming magbigay ng oras sa pagkain at pakikipag-usap sa isa't isa. Ito po ang picture naming pamilya. Ito po ang aking nanay na si Jonaline Daniel Filipino. Sobrang love po namin siya kasi alam ko po yung mga paghihirap na dinanas niya simula nung pinanganak kami hanggang ngayong malaki na kami. Ginagabayan niya pa rin po kami. Kaya sobrang blessed namin kasi nagkaroon kami ng nanay na katulad niya. Tunay nga pong hindi mapapantayan ang kahalagahan ng isang ina o ng babae. Kaya guys, wag po natin kalimutang magpasalamat sa ating mga magulang o sa ating ina araw-araw. The time is 8:34 p.m. Hindi biro ang pagsasagawa ng isang vlog. Nagpapahiwatig ka, nakikipagtalastasan at nagbibigay mensahe sa mga manonood at nakikinig na para bang kaharap mo lamang sila. Importante na malaman ng mga manonood ang mensahe o damdamin na nais mong iparating. Buti na lamang mga ka-vlog at natutunan natin sa 3rd quarter module ang punemang suprasegmental. Gamit ang tamang intonasyon at tiin, alam kong napapahiwatig ko ng tama ang mga nais kong sabihin. Ayan netizens, natapos na natin ang buong araw. Nakakapagod man, pero masaya pa din. Mas na-motivate akong mag-aral dahil tinulungan ako ng aking nanay at kapatid ko. It's like our bonding na din. Kaya ngayon, i-check na natin ang ginawa nating list kanina kung nagawa na ba natin lahat. Number 1 is exercise. Check. Number 2, eat breakfast. Check. Number 3, wash the dishes or sanitize the kitchen. Check. Number 4, finish my module. Check. And the last one is bond with my family. Check. Lahat ng nasa checklist ko ay makikita ang iba't ibang uri ng pagpapahalaga sa hierarkiya ng pagpapahalaga ni Max Scheller. Ang pag-exercise at pagtapos ng modules ay maituturing natin na vital values. Pagpapahalagang may kinalaman sa mabuting kalagayan ng buhay o well-being. Ang pagkain naman ay maituturing na sensory values kung ito ay nagdudulot ng kasiyahan sa pandamdam ng tao at vital values naman kung ito naman ay tumutukoy sa mabuting kalagayan ng buhay tulad ng pagkain na masusustansyang pagkain. Ang pagtulong sa paglilinis ng bahay tulad ng paghuhugas ng hugasin ay papasok naman sa spiritual values dahil ito ay may kinalaman sa pagpapahalaga hindi para sa sarili kundi para sa nakararami. Ang pagdadasal naman ay matatawag nating holy values. Ito ang pinakamataas na antas ng pagpapahalaga na kailangan ng tao. Ang saya! Napaka-productive ng araw na to, kaya naman I want to encourage my fellow students to study at huwag hayaang maging hadlang ang distractions. If we need help, we can always ask our loved ones. Importanteng natututo pa rin tayo ngayon kahit nasa bahay. That ends this vlog. Thank you netizens sa pagsama sa akin throughout the day. Keep safe and healthy. This is Tiffany Daniel Filipino. God bless us all.
Good day everyone! Today I am presenting to you the Integrative Performance Output, Grade 8 Quarter 3. The core subject is Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao. I am Hobita Atuan from Pablo Roman National High School, Pilar District. Before I present the performance output, I will read first the performance task. Performance output para sa third quarter, ESP bilang core subject na may integrasyon ng lahat ng subjects sa grade 8. Integrative performance output, paggawa ng picture chart na nagpapakita ng mga larawan ng pagrespeto at pagsunod sa autoridad. Panuto, gumawa sa isang bond paper ng picture chart na hinihiling. Mamarkahan ang output gamit ang rubrics o pamantayan sa ibaba. May 5 larawan po dito. Sa unang larawan ang ilalagay po, gumawa ng isang talata sa larawang napili ng maikling talata na paghahambing sa kaisipan ng pagiging mabait at merespeto. Sa ikalawang larawan naman po, ang ilalagay po ay describe the social, moral, and economic issues shown in the pictures. Yan po ay sa asignatura po ng English. At sa ikatlong larawan po, ang ilalagay naman po sa asignaturang Science, choose your second picture. Explain how it showed this law of interaction, which shows that for every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction meaning. Sa pang-apat na larawan po, ang ilalagay po, sino-sino sa ating paligid ang karapat-dapat na makatanggap ng paggalang o respeto batay sa mga larawan? Bakit? Yan naman po sa asignatura ng Araling Panglipunan. At sa ikalimang larawan po, gumawa ng grapiko upang ipakita kung alin ang pinakamadalas na paraan ang ginagamit para magpakita ng respeto. Yan naman po sa asignatura ng Matematika. Narito po yung rubric sa pagbibigay po ng puntos para sa pagbuo ng likhang picture chart. Meron po tayong indicators, application of skill, competence, yan po ang una. Next, demonstrate knowledge, then creativity, at ang panghuli po ay relevance. Meron pong mga puntos na narito, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, at 0. So, ilalagay po yung total. So, yan po ang gagamitin ng bawat guro para po sa pagbibigay po ng puntos sa kanilang ginawang output. Sa sitwasyon po ng ating panahon ngayon, minabuti ko po magkapag-communicate po sa mga guro at sa mga bata upang makamusta ko po ang kanilang output na ginagawa. Narito po ang mga picture chart na gawa po ng mga grade 8 students. Isa-isa ko pong ipapakita sa inyo ang kanilang mga gawain. Una po, yung kay Erica Jane Q. Clarin. Sa larawan, makikita nyo po na siya ay gumagawa sa pamamagitan ng pagdodrawing o pagguhit. Yan po ang kanyang pinakatalent. Papaliwanag ko po ang ginawa po ni Erica Jane Q. Clarin. Sa unang larawan po, ipinakita po ang pagkapantay-pantay. Ang sinasabi niya po dito, ang mabait ay may pagmamahal at pagpapahalaga gaya ng pagrespeto dahil masaya ka sa ginagawa mong maganda sa iba. Gaya ng first larawan, na handa kang makinig sa kwento ng iba na nirerespeto mo ang nararamdaman nila ng masaya at may pagtulong na kasama dahil sa kabutihan na ipinapamalas mo sa kanila. Sa pangalawang larawan naman po, yung sa English, social issues, this pandemic is problem and it affect everyone. Ang sagot niya naman po sa moral issues, everyone needs money to live. And with this pandemic, it's more difficult to make money. Sagot naman po sa economic issues, percentage of unemployed people increase. Sa pangatlong larawan naman po, ang nilagay po niya ay yung madalas na nagagamit sa pagrespeto. Pinakita niya po sa larawan yung paano po ginagamit ang pagrespeto. At sa ikaapat na larawan naman po, yung pagmamano. Kung paano po pinapakita ng isang bata ang pagmamano sa matanda. At sa ikalimang larawan naman po, yung craft na ginawa po niya, na makikita po natin na ang pinakamadalas na ginagamit po sa pagrespeto ay ang paggamit po ng salitang po at opo. Ito na po ang kabuuang gawain po ni Erica Jane. Makikita nyo po sa bawat subject ay may mga larawan po siyang inilagay sa bawat asignatura na ang kanyang mga ginawa. Sa picture chart po ay kay Juan Lorenzo Tiroman. Iginuhit na lang po ang mga larawan. Mahusay po sa pagdodrawing ang mga grade 8. Ito naman po ang kabuuang output po ni Lorenzo. Meron pong 5 larawan sa bawat asignatura. Makita po sa graph na ang nilagay niya po ay pie chart. Ang kasunod po nating picture chart ay kay Nicole S. Pizarro, 8 Lily. Siya po ay naggugupit po ng mga larawan. Makita niyo po na meron siyang gunting at pandikit. Nakumpleto na po ni Andrea ang mga larawan na angkop sa bawat asignatura. Ang vertical bar graph po ang ginamit sa pagpapakita ng pinakamataas na pagrespeto. Sunod naman po ay ang output po na ginawa ni Christian Katie Herrera ng 8 Gladiola. Ang mga picture po na kinuha niya ay nag-research po siya sa pamamagitan po ng Google upang maisagawa niya po ang kanyang picture chart. So, ito po ang final performance output na ginawa po ni Christian Kate. Makikita niyo po sa bawat larawan ang kanyang ginawa sa bawat asignatura. Ganun din po ang ginawa ni Irene Grace. Nag-search din po siya sa Google para makahanap po ng mga larawan. So, ito na po ang output na natapos niya. Sa lahat po ng pinakitang mga outputs po ng mga bata, isang rubrics lamang po ang gagamitin ng mga subject teacher para po mabigyan ng puntos. So malaking kaginhawahan po sa mga guro at mga mag-aaral ang integrative performance output po na ginawa nila para po maging magaan ang kanilang pagbibigay ng puntos at magaan din po sa paggawa din po ng mga bata. Nakakatuwa pong pagmasdan ang magagandang ginawa ng mga bata. Nagpakita po sila ng pagtsatsaga upang mabuo nila ang picture chart. Pinatunayan din po ng mga bata na interesado sila at naging magaan o madali ito dahil isang output na lang para sa lahat ng asignatura. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay po tayo lahat. Ingat po. God bless.
Balsik National High School Integrative Performance Task. I am Veronica J. Cordoba presenting Quarter 3 Grade 9 Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao. Quarter 3 Grade 9 Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao Integrative Performance Task Output. Ang aming pong Integrative Performance Task ay pinamagatang talento kong angkin gagamitin sa produktibong gawain. Mga kagamitan na kinailangan sa paggawa ng simpleng bahay na gawa sa patapong bagay. Narito ang mga kagamitan, pamamaraan na ginawa upang mabuo ang simpleng bahay na gawa sa mga patapong bagay. Narito ang mga kagamitan na ginamit upang mabuo ang Integrative Performance Output. Mga lumang karton at mga patapong papel at iba't ibang coloring materials. Upang mabuo ang performance task output, ang mga mag-aaral ay gaganap bilang isang inhinyero. Sila ay magdidisenyo at bubuo ng simpleng bahay gamit ang mga patapong bagay o recycled materials. Bilang isang inhinyero, naatasan ka na bumuo ng simpleng bahay na nagpapakita ng estilo at katangian ng neoclassicism at romanticism art, gamit ang mga patapong bagay na maaaring makuha sa inyong bakuran. Sa pagbuo ng bahay, mangyari lamang na itala ang mga hakbang at pamamaraan na ginawa mo na nagpapakita ng wastong paggamit sa oras at kalidad sa paggawa. Sa pagtala ng mga ito, kinakailangan mong isaalang-alang ang wastong paggamit ng mga angkop na pag-ugnay. Sa pagkakataong ito, kailangan mong ilahad ang kahalagahan ng iyong mga ginamit na pamamaraan upang mabuo ang bahay na nagpapakita ng iyong malawak na imahinasyon o idea ng pagiging malikhain na may kaakibat na wastong pamamahala sa oras na nagpapakita ng kalidad at kagalingan sa paggawa. Ang mag-aaral ay nakabuo ng isang simpleng bahay na gamit ang mga patapong bagay o recycled materials. Sa inyong bakuran na naisasalaysay ang mga pamamaraan o hakbang na ginawa gamit ang wastong mga pag-ugnay upang maipakita ang wastong pamamahala sa oras ng mayroong kalidad at kagalingan sa paggawa. Bilang bahagi ng Integrative Performance Task Output, narito ang salaysay ng mag-aaral na mula sa ika-9 na baitang. Una, inayos ko muna yung mga materyales na kakailanganin tulad ng karton, mga pangkulay at panggupit o panghati. Pangalawa, sinukat ko ang karton gamit ang meter stick sa gusto kong sukat o laki na gagawin kong bahay. Pagkatapos kong sinukat, pinagdikit-dikit ko na ito gamit ang glue gun at glue stick. Nung nagawa ko na po ang magsisilbing pader ng bahay, kinulayan ko na ito agad ng itim at kulay rosas. At nung natuyo na po ang pintura na aking nilagay, ako ay gumuhit na dito. Pagkatapos ay nagsukat po uli ako ng karton para sa magsisilbing bubong ng bahay. Dinikit ko na ito at kinulayan din. Kumuha po ako ng malaking karton para magsilbing lapag ng malaking bahay. Nagsukat naman po ako ng sticks para ilagay sa gilid ng bahay at ito ang magsilbing bakod dito. Ito po ang pahayag ng aking mag-aaral mula sa grade 9 kung paano po niya binao ang Integrative Performance Task Output. Muli po, mula sa Quarter 3, Grade 9, Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao, ito po ang aming nabuong Integrative Performance Task Output. Sa pagkakataong ito, nais ko lamang pasalamatan ang aking mag-aaral mula sa ika-9 na baitang, Sabrina Faith Santos, para sa kanyang Integrative Performance Task Output. Muli po, ito po ang aming Integrative Performance Task, Quarter 3, Grade 9, Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao. Ako po si Veronica J. Cordova from Balsig National High School, Hermosa District. Maraming salamat po.
Integrative Performance Output, Quarter 4, Grade 9. Prepared by Erciline Ginto from Hermosa National High School. Core subject, MAPE. Subjects to integrate, Science, Math, English, ESP, Filipino, and Araling Panlipunan. Materials needed, video camera or phone, stopwatch, ball, or any ball close to the size of basketball, ring, any ring close to the size of basketball ring, long string or any measuring devices used to measure length. Procedure. Look for a partner to perform the task. Prepare your stopwatch, pencil, and paper. Make a video demonstration of different basketball shooting skills. You can improvise a basketball rim or go to the nearest basketball court in your barangay. In performing the shots, ask your partner to record takes the ball to reach the ground from the basket. Use a stopwatch and record your data.
Free throw shot. Three-point shot. Layup. Hook shot. Bank shot. Those are the 5 kinds of shooting in basketball.
Reflection. Nowadays, sports emerge as an important component of socio-economic development of the country. Explain how does participating in sports like basketball improve the local and global economy in terms of health, discipline, and social cohesion. Sir, today, sports emerge as an important component of socio-economic development of the country. The active participation in sports improves community health and productivity, reduces medical expenses, imbibes discipline and character, generates great leaders, and enhances social cohesion. The activity integrates with Filipino by pagtatala ng mga datos. Integrates with science by finding the velocity of the ball just before it hits the ground. And math by finding the angle of elevation of the shooter to the basketball ring.
Which comes first, egg or chicken? If so, where does chicken come from? Ano nga ba ang nauna? Itlog o manok? Ito ang tanong na madalas itanong sa akin, Itay, kapag humuhuli ng manok na Tagalog sa aming bakuran. Sabi nga ni Itay, sa isang buong manok na iaadobo, kayang pasayahin kahit ang 8 miyembro ng pamilya. Kaiba ang lasa ng kanyang adobo. Niluluto niya kasi ito ng may pagmamahal. Kaya naman ito ang aking paboritong pagkain noon. Buhat ng si Itay ay mawala at kunin ng Panginoon. Siguro, ang daming napapasaya sa langat ni Itay. Masarap kasi magluto si Itay kung paanong masarap din siyang magmahal. Bilang ama, kumpleto sa sangkap, kumpleto sa lasa, parang adobo niya. Si Inay, ayaw nga kumain ng adobo. At ito ang gusto kong ipaalala kay Inay, na hindi lang si Itay ang may masarap na timpla ng adobo. Hindi lang si Itay ang masarap pagmahal, na kahit wala na siya, ay may isang tao na nagmamahal sa kanya at kayang-kayang ibalik ang timpla at lasa ng adobong nawala sa kanya. Na ang nag-iisa niyang anak ay nasasabik na makita muli ang tamis ng ngiti sa labi ni Inay habang tinitikman ang adobong manok. Bago ko sinimulang hulihin si Jolly, Max, Ken, niyaya ko sila ate na sa bahay na sana mananghalian. Apat kaming lahat nakakain sa tansya ko, mahigit sa 2 kilo ang timbang ni Ken. Ken ay magiging adobes. Siguradong masarap dahil siksik sa protina ang mga pitso at tita ni Jolly, Max, Ken. Sarap na lagi nilang kinakain. Nilagay ko sa kawali ang manok. Kasama ang suka. Sinimulan kong mag-isa ng ginayang bawang at nilagay ko ang manok na parang pinirito. Hinayaan ko itong kumulo at nang medyo kaunti na lamang ang sabaw. Akalain mo yun? Nagkukumahog na may halong awit at sayaw pa nang pumasok sa kusina si Inay nang maamoy ang aking niluluto. Nang nilid ang luha sa kanyang mga mata nang sabihin kong, "Nay, adobes ko para sa inyo. Pinagluto kita ng pinakamasarap na adobes. Kasi miss na kita. Miss ko na yung dating ikaw. Love you, Nay." Kahit araw-araw ako magluto ng adobes, makita lang kitang araw-araw masaya. Patakbo akong niyakap na may pagmamahal ni Inay. At nang matikman niya ang aking adobes, sabi niya na miniti sa labi, mas masarap ang adobo ko sa luto ni Itay. Mas malinamnam kaysa sa ibang adobo na kanilang natikman. Salamat sa Diyos at binigyan ako ng kasanayan na humawak ng kawali at sandok. Pinagkalooban niya ako ng maayos na panlasa upang matimpla ng tama ang lasa ng aking lutuin. At dahil sa nagustuhan ni Inay ang aking adobes, nakaimbento ako ng bagong putahe mula rito, ang aking adoreta. Ito ang adobo na kinaldereta. Kaya si Inay hindi na nawawala ang ngiti sa labi ngayon kasi alam niya na ang kanyang nag-iisang anak kailanman ay hindi siya iiwan ni pababayaan man. aking finished product.
Alam ko na. Hi guys! Ngayong araw, tuturuan ko kayo magluto ng beef salpicao. Ayon sa research, ang beef proteins ay highly nutritious at nakakatulong din sa pagpapalaki ng ating katawan. Kaya hindi lang masarap, healthy pang ating lulutuin. Ang mga ingredients nito ay ayun, ayos na. Ngayong kumpleto ng ating mga sangkap, pwede na tayo magsimulang magluto. Ang una natin gagawin ay magbabrown tayo ng garlic. Ayon sa science class ko, dapat nakalungit lang tayo para hindi masunog yung mga madaling masunog tulad ng garlic. Kapag nakita mo na golden brown na siya, pwede mo na siyang tanggalin sa pan. Kapag natanggal mo na yung bawang, pwede na natin lutuin yung beef. I-sear lang natin siya. Hintayin lang natin siya mag-brown bago natin siya baliktarin o i-flip. Ito, brown na siya. Pwede na natin siya baliktarin. Kapag nag-brown na yung kabila, lagyan na natin siya ng 2 tablespoon ng butter. Para mas malasa siya, lalagyan natin siya ng 2 tablespoon ng toyo. Tsaka 1 tablespoon ng Worcestershire sauce. Kalahating kutsarita ng asin. Tsaka kalahating kutsarita ng paminta. Ngayon, ibabalik na natin yung bawang. Ngayon, kumpleto na ang ating beef salpicao. Ipe-plate na natin siya. Ngayon, ipapatikim na natin ang ating beef salpicao. Papatikim na natin ang maraba. Abay, ito na. Masarap ba? Oo. Isang gusto na malap. Pwede? Oo, hindi mo ayaw. Masarap? Kaya ko? Diba, tingnan mo. Tingnan mo nga. Masarap. Pwede na panagawa siya ta. Pwede na. Pwede na. Ngayon, ako naman nagtitigim ng ating beef salpicao. Parang mas masarap kumpara sa dati nating ginawa na chicken dish. Mas malasa siya at mas madaling lutuin. Sa napakakunting sangkap, nakagawa tayong masarap at masustansang dish na mayaman sa protina at calcium na napakaganda dahil napapalakas nito ang ating mga katawan. Uy, napatawag ka. Nag-vlog ako eh.
Hoy Job, busy ka ba?
Wala naman. Kumakain ako ng salpigaw.
Mukhang masarap na yung salpigaw na yun ah. Tatanong ko lang saan sa yung assignment natin tungkol sa EP. Baka meron ka ng idea.
Actually, meron na. Itong salpigaw.
Pre, sabi ko AP, hindi PG. Pagkain na naman nasa isip mo eh.
Hindi kasi, makinig mo na diba? Sabi ni Sir, humanap tayo ng mga pwedeng pagkakitaan ng pangkabuhayan. O di, ito na lang yung kinakain ko, yung beef salpigaw. Oo. Eh, hindi lang naman kasi gawa-gawa yung pagluluto. Pwede din ito pangkabuhayan, tsaka pwede rin pagkakitaan. Kasi ganito yon. Papaliwanag ko sa'yo ah. Ayon sa nabasa ko research, more than 3 times na ng dami ng meat na naproproduce natin ngayon kumpara noong 50 years ago. Noong 2018, nasa around 340 million tons na ang meat production lalo nang dumadami dahil daw sa mga yumayaman ng mga tao. And statistically, meat dishes, lalo na yung mga beef, mga mayayaman lang daw nakakabili. Kaya sa pag-promote natin ng beef salpicaw, mura at saka madali pang lutuin, natutulungan na rin natin yung ibang tao na makakain ng mga masasarap na dish o kaya yung maging negosyo. Sa TikTok, total uso naman ngayong pandemya yung TikTok. Tsak marami tayong marireach na audience. Gawa tayo ng TikTok video ng salpicaw. Tapos mamaya sisend ko sa inyo sample. Tapos ipa-approve na rin natin kay Chef pag nag-present tayo, okay? Sige. Sige. Sige, salamat.
Hoy, kasi hindi ata na-job yung video. Kaya check ko nga din.
I'ma be taking them pics, looking all fly and shit. I'ma be the flyest chick. I'ma be spreading my wings. I'ma be doing my thing. Do it. Okay. I'ma swing it this way. I'ma
You can be my new child. Shake your body, baby girl, make it go side to side. Earthquake, whoa.
Hi everyone! I'm here to present to you a sample integrative performance output. I'm Ethel Joy Ari Gonzalez. I'm a representative of Justice Emilio Angeles Gancayco Memorial High School. I will present a sample integrative performance output of a grade 11 student for the third quarter. Before I start, I want to recognize the collaborative efforts of our development team. Our integrative performance task followed this graph, and we have here the expected product, which is a short story about a family formulating an emergency preparedness plan to guide them on what to do before, during, and after an earthquake. It's optional, but they may include a drawing or a photo related to the short story they made. I have here a sample output from one of my students, and it is entitled Cruel Summer. And the story goes like this. The narrator, or the main character in the story, had a vacation together with her family in her aunt's house. A supposedly happy and memorable summer vacation turned to a nightmare as an earthquake brought fear in her heart. The main subject of our performance task is disaster readiness and risk reduction. From the left side of your screen, we have the expected output. And at the right side, we have the paragraph taken from the story or the short story of my student, which is actually aligned to the expected output. So the expected output goes like this. Dialogues from one of the characters in the story stating important information about earthquake, its hazards and impact prevention and reduction. We have the highlighted part aligned to the expected output, which is we must apply the things that we've learned in the earthquake drill, like the drop, cover, and hold, observe, and don't panic. Moreover, the hazards of it are quite alarming. It can severely damage infrastructure and can lead to tsunami, landslide, and rockfalls, subsidence and lateral spreading, liquefaction, and many more. We have reading and writing, claims explicitly or implicitly expressed in the dialogues of the characters in the short story. The highlighted part, which has something to do with claims, we have, that's why the 1990 Luzon earthquake should be taken as a lesson and open everyone's eyes so that we should be aware of the things and tragedy that might happen to us, especially that no one had any idea when and where an earthquake would happen. With 21st century literature from the Philippines to the world, we have dialogues or lines from one of the characters in the short story sharing his or her recent experience during an earthquake using imagery. So we have here the imageries. Sun dipped below the horizon, the last gasp of beauty before the death of the day. Sound of the engine revving up. Heavy traffic welcomed us as the moon lit up the dark. A curmudgeon vociferous sound welcomed us. Pagbasa at pagsusuri ng iba't ibang teksto tungkol sa pananaliksik. We have mga pahayag mula sa isang tauhan sa maikling kwento na nagsasabi kung ano ang kabuluhan o kahalagahan ng pagiging handa sa anumang sakuna. Highlighted parts from the paragraph. Oo, hindi natin may iwasan ng mga sakuna. Ngunit, mas mabuti pa rin na maging handa sapagkat maililigtas mo ang iyong sarili, pati na rin ang mga kasama mo sa buhay. Dahil ikaw mismo ang magtuturo sa kanila kung ano ang mga dapat gawin kapag may sakunang nagaganap, tulad ng lindol, at para makaiwas na rin sa mga matinding epekto nito. Statistics and probability. Dialogues from one of the characters in the short story stating an example of informative data which is a result of the use of percentile in earthquake-related observations. Highlighted part aligned to the expected output, we have, if we cooperate on this campaign, it is possible to reduce the damage from 60% of the current year to 20% of the coming years. We have physical signs. Statements from one of the characters in the short story on how collision theory happened during earthquakes. So we have the highlighted part which talks about the collision theory. Earthquake happens when plates came into contact and energy is released. Subducting plates, where one tectonic plate is being driven under another, are associated with volcanoes and earthquakes. But I guess this topic we had will not let anyone know the gravity of the word disaster unless you witnessed it on your own or you learn from others' experiences. We have physical education and health. Dialogues from one of the characters in the short story sharing how he or she applies the FIT principle that he or she has learned in responding to the situation in times of disaster. We have, if you're well fit, you can respond to any disaster or emergency fast, and you can even help other people. Practical Research 1. Statements from one of the characters in the short story about a comprehensive video content about earthquake, its hazard, impact prevention with proper citation. So I have here the highlighted part that has something to do with proper citation. Disasters remain one of the main challenges facing nations of the developing world, as they not only cause high mortality and suffering, but also damage local economies. Al-Namari 2015. Next, we have discipline and ideas in the applied social sciences. We have the expected output. Dialogues from one of the characters in the short story who is a guidance counselor informing the other characters that they can seek counsel before and after earthquake as a way to help them in processing their thoughts and emotions after the earthquake and other life situation. The highlighted part from the paragraph, we have, I heard from one of the parents and teachers association meeting that you can ask for help from your guidance counselor whenever you feel confused or lost. I learned that guidance and counseling is not about punishments. It is about helping anyone in dealing with problems and other situations. And that's the reason why I asked her to come. We have general biology. Statements from one of the characters in the short story on how to do basic first aid treatment once the disorder or disease is identified. We have the highlighted parts of the paragraph. The nurses checked her injury first. She explained what happened and the nurse examined her head if there were small chips of wood from the cabinet left in her wound. They disinfected her wound. And we have here the line, as a finishing touch, they put a gauze to her wound and gave her some antibiotics. We have options on the submission of output, and you may give these options to your students as well. So option 1, we have it as a soft copy. As a teacher, you may provide a Google Drive link where the students will upload the soft copy of their short story, or they may simply send the copy through your Gmail account or your Messenger. Option 2, we have, you may ask your students to submit a printed copy of their informative performance output or short story. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am here to present to you a sample output of one of my grade 11 students in quarter 4. I am Ara A. Reyes from Justice Emilio Angeles Gancaico Memorial High School of Orion District. I am one of the authors and also the content editor of this IPT. Again, I would like to acknowledge the development team behind this integrative performance test. The acronym GRASPS stands for Goal, Role, Audience, Situation, Product, and Standard. Let me present to you our GRASPS. Goal. Your goal is to create a comic strip and upload it in your Facebook account. The comic strip should contain information about the strong typhoon that is about to enter the Philippine Area of Responsibility or PAR and how readers must prepare to protect themselves from flood and possible storm surge. For the role, you are a cartoonist or a comic strip creator. Audience, people in your community or general public. Situation. A strong typhoon is expected to enter the Philippine Area of Responsibility or PAR, and you want to disseminate information on how to be protected from flood and possible storm surge through a comic strip. You may rearrange the sequence of the performance outputs to come up with a story in your comics. The number of panels is also indicated to serve as your guide. Product, comic strip with number of panels indicated in the table guide. For standard or criteria for success, we have here the rubrics for creating this integrative performance task. We have the criteria points. Number 1, application of skill or competence for 5 points. Number 2, demonstrated knowledge, again for 5 points. Number 3, creativity, 5 points. And number 4, relevance, 5 points, for a total of 20 points. We have here the rubric that will serve as a guide for the teacher and the student. There are 9 subjects that are integrated in this final output. This output was submitted by May Christelle H. Dagohoy of grade 11 STEM Rutherford. I will read first the competency and the performance output for each subject. Let's start with reading and writing skills. Determine textual evidence to validate assertions and counterclaims made about a text read. For the performance output, 2 panels in the comics showing a weather forecast using textual evidence. Here's the output for reading and writing skills. One Monday evening in the residence of Ponzalan family, Typhoon Haiku is still gaining strength outside the Philippine area of responsibility, with sustained winds up to 175 kilometers per hour. Haiku will be named Rudy once it enters the PAR on Wednesday morning. According to Pag-asa, if it reaches the 215 kilometers per hour, then we can address it as a super typhoon. It is expected to make landfall over the Samar Leyte provinces by Thursday between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. Basic calculus. Solve situational problems involving exponential growth and decay. An illustration in the comics showing an example of real-life application of exponential growth or decay is evident in the history, prevention, or protection from any potential hydrometeorological hazards. This is a performance output for basic calculus. The government is currently making preparations for the people to prepare them from the possible effects of the typhoon, because according to the law of exponential growth, the number of population in families affected by disasters such as typhoon increases every year. Disaster readiness and risk reduction. Recognize signs of impending hydrometeorological hazards. 3 panels in the comic strip showing a family on how they formulate an emergency preparedness plan to guide them on what to do before, during, and after the occurrence of events like typhoons. Here is the performance output for disaster readiness and risk reduction. Dad, look at this. There's another storm coming. We need to prepare for it. Okay, son, let's make a plan later. After a few minutes later, so here's the plan. First, we need to prepare an emergency kit. There, we will put food, water, and other necessary things before typhoon. So, what are we going to do after the storm, Dad? After the storm, we must keep away from structures with damages, like power lines and fallen trees. Before returning home, we need to wait for authorities to announce if it is safe to go back now. During the storm, we will stay in our house or evacuation center. Also, we will turn off utilities like water and electricity. General Biology 1. Differentiate aerobic from anaerobic respiration. 2 panels in the comics showing the difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration and how it can be used in the different activities as preparation for a strong typhoon. This is the performance output for general biology. While preparing for an emergency survival kit, Dad, can I ask you a question? Sure. What do you want to ask me, my son? While packing these things, I just got curious on how water is formed during cellular respiration and why it is important to all living things, including us humans. Because in cellular respiration, water becomes one of the end product of aerobic respiration. It is important to all living things because water allows everything inside cells to have the right shape at the molecular level.
How about the biscuits? Since it is made from yeast, how is yeast formed during cellular respiration?
Yeast is formed by fermentation. It is a chemical process by which molecules such as glucose are broken down anaerobically.
Para sa pagbasa at pagsusuri ng iba't ibang teksto tungo sa pananaliksik, nabibigyang kahulugan ang mga konseptong kaugnay ng pananaliksik. Halimbawa, balangkas konseptual, balangkas theoretical, datos empirical, at iba pa. Kahulugan ng mga konseptong may kaugnayan sa pananaliksik sa pamamagitan ng dalawang panel sa comic strip hinggil sa paparating na bagyo at kung paano ito mapaghahandaan. Para sa pagbasa at pagsusuri ng iba't ibang teksto tungo sa pananaliksik. Pagkatapos maghanda ng mag-ama ay bumaba sila upang maghapunan. Ano-ano naman po ang konseptong maaaring mapuo tungkol sa paghahanda sa bagyo? Ang mga konsepto sa paraan ng paghahanda sa paparating na bagyo ay ang mga impormasyon, kagamitan at lugar. Inay, maaari ka bang magbigay ng theoretical na balangkas tungkol sa paghahanda sa paparating na bagyo? Oo naman anak, at isa sa mga theoretical na maaaring gamitin sa mga pagtatangka na harapin ang mga pag-uugali na nagbabawas ng panganib ng mga natural na sakuna ay ang protection motivation theory. Itay, kung datos empirical naman, paano mo po ilalarawan ang mga nakaraang bagyo tulad ng Yolanda?
Ayon sa pag-asa, ang bagyong Yolanda ang isa sa pinakamalakas na bagyong nakarating sa Pilipinas. Naapektuhan nito ang 1,437,251 pamilya.
For physical education and health, observe personal safety protocol to avoid dehydration, overexertion, hypothermia, and hyperthermia during MVPA or moderate vigorous physical activity participation. 2 panels in the comics showing appropriate clothes during cold weather. This is a performance output for physical education and health.
Honey, I'll put the heavy equipment up in our garage later, so it won't be hit by the flood. What should I wear?
I think you should wear your jacket, honey, so that you do not get cold, especially this rainy season, to avoid hypothermia. Practical Research 1. Plans data collection, data gathering, instrument, and analysis. 2 panels in the comics showing a story on how a rescuer or respondents are planning in data collection, data gathering, and data analysis before, during, and after the typhoon. Here is a performance output for Practical Research 1. Meanwhile, staffs, rescuers, and reporters gather the meeting for the upcoming storm.
So here's the plan. As we gather information from the people regarding the typhoon, we will use interview as a data gathering instrument. Through reporters then, we will analyze data collected. Before, during, and after the typhoon, we'll do our best to serve our community.
We all agree with you. Statistics and probability. Draws conclusion about the population mean based on the test statistic value and the rejection region. An illustration in the comics showing an example of real-life application where conclusion about the population mean is evident in the history, prevention, or protection from any potential hydrometeorological hazards. Here is the performance output for statistics and probability. Thursday came and it started to rain heavily.
Son, can you please turn on the radio?
Okay, Dad.
It seems like the storm has already arrived. Because of the government preparedness, the mean population of families affected by disasters decreased as we compare it to the previous year's mean population. 21st century literature from the Philippines and the world. Compare and contrast the various 21st century literary genres and their elements, structures, and traditions from across the globe. Two panels in the comics showing a story of how Filipinos survived devastating typhoons. Here's a performance output for 21st century literature from the Philippines and the world. The storm continued to intensify, and they were brought to the evacuation center. Dad and Mom, we're safe here. Yes, son, thanks to the rescuers who brought us in this evacuation center. I remember 10 years ago, we also survived a devastating typhoon. We went to the evacuation area before the typhoon made its landfall. We have here the options on the submission of output. For option number 1, students may upload their IPTs in the Google Drive link that you will provide for them. They may also take a photo of each page of their comics and send it to your email address or Facebook Messenger. For option number 2, the parent or guardian of the student may bring the IPT in the school and submit it to the class advisor. That would be all. Thank you so much, and God bless us all.
One, ultimate output integrated with 7 subject areas among accountancy, business, and management grade 12 senior high school learners in Morong National High School, Senior High School, Quarter 3. I am Maria Salvacion R. Tunaya, Senior High School Teacher 2, under the supervision of our ever-supporting school head, Mrs. Enrica G. Patio, Morong District. Inquiries, investigation, and immersion is our leading subject. I am proud to present you our actual output, research proposal, chapters 1 to 3. The objective is to, after the performance task, the learners should create a research proposal based on their business enterprise. Materials or resources used were research paper and a business plan. Physical education and health, students were able to demonstrate their gadget rule provided by the teacher prior to writing their research proposal based on their chosen study. For inquiries, investigation, and immersion, and work immersion, students were able to formulate research problem and research questions based on their business plan. While contemporary Philippine arts from the region, students were able to frame conceptual framework on the specific interests of their field based on their business plan. For business ethics and social responsibility, students were able to collate and synthesize their review-related literature based on the specific interests on their business plan. For business finance, students were able to select their target population based on the business practices using sampling method or technique. For media, information, and literacy, students were able to create an online survey questionnaire and interview via Messenger and Google Form. And to highlight the learner's performance task, here you will witness their virtual research proposal defense and preparation before their presentation. And with that, thank you and good day.
Good day, everyone. I am Kremsi V. Kahayon from Morong National High School Senior High School. I am here to present the output for the Integrative Performance Task. I am with Ma'am Julie B. Centillas in this presentation. So, ang pinaka-main subject po natin dito ay ang working immersion for senior high school na ginawa po naming capstone project, adjustment po na ginawa namin since nasa pandemic time po tayo. And then, 4 na subjects po yung na-integrate namin for work immersion. Ito po yung I3 or yung Inquiries Investigation Immersion. And then the Contemporary Philippine Arts from the Regions. And then Media and Information Literacy in General Chemistry 2. Ang goal po namin dito, una, para sa work immersion, is to evaluate the work immersion experience by presenting a portfolio. Sa second po subject, which is Inquiries, Investigations, and Immersion, is to submit final written research report. Sa Contemporary Philippine Arts from the Regions, is to create the intended final product using appropriate materials for the best possible output. Sa Media and Information Literacy is to produce a creative text-based, visual-based, audio-based, motion-based, and manipulative-based presentation using design principle and elements. At sa huli pong subject, which is General Chemistry 2, is to describe laboratory procedures in determining concentrations of solutions. The student's role is to create a research paper from chapter 1 to 5. And they have to participate in the research activity. So the situation is conducting a final product or output-based research paper that can contribute in the field of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics and the completion of work immersion portfolio. So the product should be based on a research paper that is related to their strand, which is STEM. And then the criteria that we use for this is the rubrics coming from SDO-Bataan. So here are the students' output. For Media and Information Literacy subject, the students are able to create a text-based, visual-based, audio-based, motion-based, and manipulative-based PowerPoint presentation during their final defense. For Inquiries, Investigation, and Immersion subject, they are asked to submit final written research report, which also includes the laboratory procedures, which is asked to do in General Chemistry 2. And for work immersion, they are asked to evaluate the work immersion experience by presenting a portfolio.